Good morning. Like I said in our little intro, we're actually a little bit early today. I'll show you guys. I got Spry, Ellie, Taylor. We're back from a bit of a break from our live videos. This is number 77 I saw before I started. Last one we did was over in Buffalo County, and I think it was maybe a week ago. So we did take a break. We certainly did not take a break from training. We covered a lot of stuff with a lot of dogs. We did go live. We went live from our workshop. We also went live from, I don't know, Steph went live a couple times, I think. So we didn't stop going live. We just showed, we did give you a chance to see some of the stuff we were up to. Good morning, Megan. Megan's in. Greg Taylor's in. Good morning. So Jeff Trudell, good morning, Jeff. Jeff went through the ups and downs with us. Mike Schulte, welcome, Mike. I've messaged Mike a few times since the weekend. I've talked with and had a lot of communication with several people since the weekend. For those who I have not caught up with yet, I apologize. I have been trying to play catch up majorly. So whether it's email, Facebook messages, text messages, or voicemails, I didn't get back on all the voicemails yet. I think I got back on most of the Facebook, and I think I got all the emails finished yesterday. So that's a good example of when I take last week we weren't off. Keith Zeidel, good morning. James, good morning. We certainly weren't off last week, not working. We worked a lot and got a ton of really good stuff done, but it held me back from having a chance to do a lot of the day-to-day stuff, email-wise and all that. So Ellie, come on. Ellie, Taylor, come on. So I am catching up on a lot of that stuff, so I appreciate your patience is what I'm trying to say. I'm gonna walk ahead a little bit. I know I'm a little bit earlier than I usually was when I was at 6, but I haven't gone at 6 for a week. So my battery is 50%, so this will be a shorter one just because of that. I don't know that that's always the worst. Sometimes I think our shorter lessons, we get a little crisper. We find a rhythm quicker, and we get in, we get what we need to get done, and then we get out of it. So I think that's something that is good. I will talk in the next, you'll notice one thing. Spry has not gotten much work. Ellie, Taylor, come on. Taylor, come on. They have worked them quite a bit. We had the handlers workshop. They were quite involved with it. Spry wasn't. So her activities have been less. And one of the things that I noticed is, sit down. One of the things I noticed is her heel work, she's gotten out a little bit. Amber, good morning. It's actually, I think, Amber's husband, good morning. So do me a favor, guys, as you come on, as always, thank you for supporting us. Please do me a favor and share these, particularly you can put them on your page, but also share them to someone that you think these might help. The idea is to grow the live part of it. I think there's value in watching them later too, so don't get me wrong. But if we can get live, and I know a lot of people have said, oh, I really try to watch them live, but it just doesn't work with the schedule, and I understand. That's the nice part about using Facebook. But I did find out too that Carol sent me a message. I mentioned this last week. A lot of people said they couldn't see all the live videos, because if you go into our videos on your mobile device, if you're on a phone, you go into videos on our Facebook page, you can only scroll back to like, I don't know how many, but it's only allowing me to get back to like around 20, number 20. So I can only go back 50 some live with Sprys, and a lot of people are new and joining in new. And to get the most out of this, I think you got to go all the way back. Good morning, Ron. Melissa joined in. In order to get the most out of the live with Spry stuff, I think you got to start in the beginning and watch the start till the finish. So, or to get caught up. I don't know when there will be a finish for this, but so the way to do it is when you go on your phone and you go to our DogBone page, there's a thing that's called like home, reviews, photos. It's like on a little bar, and you can slide it to the left. And you can slide it to the left and click on posts. And when you click on posts, it shows every post we've ever done. So you can scroll back. You just gotta scroll, but you can scroll back, and my phone scrolled back pretty quickly with good Wi-Fi. So you can scroll back. It takes you a minute or two to go all the way back, but you can get to number 1 of Live with Spry. And you got to remember, when Live with Spry started, we didn't know what Live with Spry was. We didn't really have a vision of it. We more were just trying to document stuff. We weren't really creating anything. We weren't really building a Live with Spry. Live with Spry didn't get started getting called that for weeks. So the very first one is super informal, and we're sitting in our living room and we're working on place training. For anyone who's having problems with place training, that's where we started. So the first one, and I did go back and number them later. So Chad, it is Chad checking in under Amber's account. So if you want to go see them all, you can do it. You got to go to posts and you got to scroll all the way back, and you can on a mobile device. On the computers, if you're on a computer, it's easy. Go to videos. Go to videos, and the library has them all. So that's a quick one. I'm going to get right into it. I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I've brought the tripod with. I'm going to show some stuff. We made some retrieves with Spry last week. You hear me talk about not retrieving while they're teething, and I'm big on that. I did make some retrieves last week because we were producing something for future. We were producing something that we're going to be using in the future, a project that I'm real excited about. I worked with an awesome team on it this last week. We got more stuff to do with it, but it's off to a really good start. Ron says, great to have the morning lives back. It does feel good to be having back because I'm big on routine as well. And so we're finally getting caught up to be able to do it. So thanks, Ron. Morning, Aaron and Trevor. So this project that we were working on, we did some retrieving, and boy did that feel good, because I think retrieving is going to be all right going forward with Spry. I'm really looking forward to it. I still am patient. She's still missing her canine teeth. She doesn't have them yet. I'm going to step out of the way so you can see the dogs, because this is me turning my back to them and them not seeing, so it's another nice remote sit drill. But she's still teething. But for this production, this video production thing that we were doing, I had to make some retrieves with her, and she did it. She did really well. That's why I'm optimistic. She also started bleeding. Her gums started bleeding so we didn't do much of it. So it's a reminder to be patient with those who are teething. We had 5 puppies if you count Spry, teething at our workshop. So how do we do a workshop with dogs that can't retrieve? Well, we worked around it. They retrieved with other dogs. They used Ellie, they used Taylor. So they didn't get out of it. They had the opportunity to be hands-on. But I think it was a reminder to me too of our group was nowhere near as far along as our first group here in Pulaski. Part of the group didn't follow along isn't a social media follower. So they didn't see, they were really fresh coming into that workshop in Buffalo County. So we were set back a little bit that way. The other thing was the biggest problems and they weren't problems, but the things that came up at the workshop were the off-lead things. When we were off-lead, we struggled greatly. Now we were up against weather and we had a lot of things going against us as well. But so do me a favor, guys, share away on these. Well, I'm going to get going with Spry because I need to get a good. Now you're going to notice I do have my slip chain. I think I am going to put it on her because one thing I noticed when I came down on our walk this morning was I didn't do much with her at the workshop. And I feel like after a few days of not getting a lot of heel work in, her heel work has faded some, but I also think it's improved. When I say that, I mean, remember my problems, my struggles were Spry hung back on me a lot. I couldn't get her to keep up and be as easy to make my right hand turns. My left hand turns, she cheated kind of, and her turns were good. So by taking a week and really not doing much of this, I've done some but not a lot, I noticed that we were walking to this point she got out a little bit further. She got out maybe a step and a half. I didn't correct her because I'm going to wait and feather that back a little bit, because I don't necessarily want her behind me. I don't want her in front of me. So what do I got to do? I got to find the middle. So I'm going to move Taylor and Ellie back, and then I'm going to bring Spry up. So this is denial work for those guys. It's honoring. It's them being patient, which they were able to show me that they're quite patient. I'm going to do a denial for the bigger dogs, because they did a lot of retrieves. So balance, balance, balance. You do a lot of retrieves, make sure you do a lot of denials. If you do a lot of lining, do a little bit of handling. If you do a lot of handling, make sure you do lining. If you do a lot of heel off lead work, make sure you do heel work. You know, it's just constantly balancing. So I moved them back a little bit. I'm going to get rid of this second leash. I brought it with just in case, because I hadn't done these for a while, and I thought, you know what, I might want that second leash with those other dogs. You'll know most of the time I go off lead with the bigger dogs. If you've got questions, guys, one thing with doing them in the morning I think is great is we've got a great way to start the day. There's a lot of positives to doing early morning lives. The one thing I have noticed is the interaction has slowed way down. So if you got questions, ask them. I can answer them. If I can't answer them now, I'll answer them later, but keep asking questions, because that's interactive. I had conversations with a lot of people this week. Some coming off the workshop. A few people told me they can't believe. I had a person that was at our workshop that messaged me and said she can't believe how much fun it is now with her dog, just because of the improvement of heel. Like, one of the most simple things in the world. And she's having a lot more fun with her dog now, because it's easier, it's more fun, it's just, it looks better, she feels more comfortable. So I think heel is so important. And in the beginning of when I messaged this topic, or whatever you want to call it, when I titled number 77, I said more of the same, because that's all this is more of the same. And I think that says something about how consistent we're going to have to be, and how repetitious we're going to be. And there's a lot of people that I think would get to the point maybe that they were at where Spry is, and they'd go, I've got it, I'm ready to move on. No, you're not. It will come back and haunt you. So I don't even waste my time thinking about rushing on. When I'm ready to move on, I'll move on. So good morning, everybody. I'm going to start with her. I'm going to get her turns going a little bit. You've all seen this before. If you're new to this, welcome. Please go back and watch some of the old ones. It'll make a lot more sense. Spry. I'm still going to start out with her name. Spry. Heel. And I'm going to pick my pace up, because she is kind of reading off my slowness. Heel. Forgot the whistle this morning, so we don't have the whistle. Good news for the whistles, I'll let you know in a minute. See how a little she slows down. Huh. Good. Good. Come on. Good girl. Good. Come on. Come on. see her whole body language change when I throw that little bumper. I'm not going to do it very often for her because she isn't retrieving, so I don't want to throw a bunch of them and steady her up and never let her pick one up. So, but I did throw one that time because I made a couple of retrieves last week, and that got, you could see her body language. She really went like this, and she just stiffened up. So she's going to have to learn to relax a little bit too. Now I'm going to find balance with that because we haven't retrieved for so long. I'm going to let her retrieve, and I'm going to probably let her retrieve without making her be super steady to start out with, because I'm just going to build the retrieve back. But I'm also going to, all the way along, I'm going to try to feather in and touch in and just ease to the idea of you still got to be steady. That's why I walk right past her. I walk like I'm gonna go pick her up, and then I just walk right past her, because these are just twists on remote sit is all it is. Sit. Sit. So that was just a twist on it. Usually I'm going and focusing on Ellie. Well, this isn't group work, but it incorporates other dogs, so it kind of is, I guess. I don't want her breaking when I pick the lead up. That's why I stretch the lead out. If the lead is stretched out, you don't have to reach right next to the dog and pick them up. If the lead is right here and I got to pick it up, she's much more apt to get up and wag her tail and get excited. I saw that a lot this weekend. Spry. I saw it a lot where people would get anywhere near their dog, and their dog would just boil over with excitement. Good heel. Come on. Wish I had my whistle. If I had my whistle right now, I'd be doing these to the whistle. As I stop, she sits. I didn't say anything to her, I just stopped. Because there are a couple things that I'm going to look at building on with Spry, and I'm probably going to start now. Well, not today, but it's something that I've assessed and kind of been watching, and I think it's time. I really want to get her, she's a little over 6 months now, so I want to get her to start off lead. It's going to be real simple, so I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to start her off lead. Doesn't just because I'm starting off lead, I think there's a lot of people at home that have been struggling with heel work, and they're going to go, oh, Spry's got to go out going off lead, maybe I should too. Don't do off lead until you're equal to or better than what we're doing on lead with her. But I am going to start because I think she's ready. How do I know? I don't know. I think she's ready, and I'm going to find out. And if I'm going to find out probably where the weaknesses are, and I don't know where they are right now because I haven't done it, but when they do, I'll show you and I'll explain to you why I see, well, I need to be better at this, I need to be a little bit better at that. You remember with Taylor, you know, Taylor is Taylor, and where does she need to be worked on and helped right now? Just straight lines, just taking lines. She took them pretty good this weekend. I put her on some pretty difficult, not difficult, but more challenging retrieves, and she took lines pretty confident. I handled her a little bit because I needed to, but I didn't handle her until she was out close to 200 yards. So for her to go 200 yards and trust me before I needed to handle her, that's a lot better than before, because before she'd pop and she'd go 30 yards and check in. So what have I done with her? I've gone way back and I've just worked on lines, sending her confidently on lines. So today I've got a bright bump. Well, it's not that bright anymore. It was one of the ones we used with Spry earlier, and she got it kind of dirty, but it's a white bumper. It's visual. I'm gonna do that on our walk. On our way back, I'm gonna send Taylor on lines. Just because she did good this weekend doesn't mean I stop with what I've been doing with working on it. So Spry, heel. That was a nice little break for her to focus, and now we're back into some heel work. See how her head gets in the way a little bit and I have to bump it? There. There. Good. Now that time, for that little session, I don't have my whistle, so we're not sitting to the whistle. I'm trying to get her to start sitting to the whistle. She's in a habit of stopping every time sitting every time I stop. So that time I was trying to make sure she didn't. I didn't want her to anticipate a sit. I didn't want her to just stop and sit. So I took 1-2 steps, stopped, and as soon as she looked like she was going to maybe start to sit, I moved again. So what I'm trying to do is now get her, like, she's ready for this because she has responded to sitting to stops real well. So now what I want her to do, I don't want her always sitting because every time I slow down, she decides she wants to try to sit, and I don't want that. So, because I may have to have her moving and still focusing on me on all 4 feet, looking for the next thing to do, but still on 4 feet. So what I'm trying to do with her is get her to understand she's got to move with me sometimes, and then sometimes Dad stops and she just stops too. And so when I move, she moves, and when I stop, she stops. And when I want her to sit, I'll get her to sit. It'll either be just like I did there, sit, or correction, or it's not even correction, but sometimes the way I can do it silently without saying verbal sit, I don't have to say sit every time. I don't have to blow the whistle every time. I want the whistle to equal sit. I want sit to equal sit. But sometimes it's just feel. Feel. I lifted up slightly there. I lifted it up. It wasn't much. It was this much. That little bit of adjustment by me, she felt. So that is going to be, if I'm going to, that's going to be sit. Loose, I want her standing. Ellie, heel. So I'm going to show you, it's real subtle, you're going to have to really watch. That's exactly what I want. I don't want her sitting. I watched the camera to see if she started or not. This time when I come up, I'm going to just lift up slightly. And I want her to sit. Good. Good. Very good. So if you saw that, I lifted it up about, I mean, it was a little more dramatic. You probably could see it. I went like this. The feel on the chain, that's correction. I think some people think when I say correction, I mean, and that is correction. That's whatever it's whatever level you need to get something to happen. So if that correction right there put her to a little wagging tail, low battery, so we're gonna have to wrap this pretty quick. That correction that I did got her little tail wagging. When I give her a little light, when I light her up a little bit like this, she looks at me and goes, "Well, geez, Dad, what was that for?" And she kind of wags her tail a little bit, and her ears go back, and her body language changes. It just did. Now, this is correction. That is. She felt that. Because eventually, I want to get, I can't stress how much, I want to go as light as possible to get a reaction, to get a change. So this, sometimes, for my dog, that's a 10, sometimes. For some people, the 10 is you got to lift and you got to get their front feet off. Sometimes Spry's 10 is lifting to get her front feet off. If she's doing something really, really wrong that I have to get her attention quickly with and sharp, and her level at 10, let's say 10 is where the change takes place, sometimes as her feet come off the ground. Not very often. Very, very seldom. But that's a 10 sometimes. Did you see how she reacted to it? Whoa. So this weekend we had people that were really starting to figure out their timing. Jeff Trudell, you're one of them. You were starting to figure out your timing. Curtis was figuring out better timing. Dan was figuring out better timing. You guys were still missing them. You were missing them 33% of the time, I'm going to say 1 out of 3 you missed. The timing. You usually caught it. By the end of the weekend, you saw it, you knew it, you missed it, but you remembered, you recognized it and went, I missed it. Okay, so that's just recognizing it. Now it's coordinating your body to correct at the right time. Remember that our group from this weekend will remember, anyone who's been to our workshop, the old man, reflex. So you were getting a little bit of reflex by the end. So, but the thing that I thought about after, Jeff, was, with you particularly, was you were correcting a lot with Thor. Lots and lots and lots and lots. And I think what you need to realize is we need to figure out how to correct to get a change, and then figure out how to, it's going to take less correction, less correction, less correction, less correction, to still get change. So you got to work towards it. It's going to take a while. So, but I want people to realize that's correction. Corrector. Right there, I did. Sometimes my correction will be, when I get off lead, it will be this. Bump, bump. You're going to see how I do get her to off lead over the next week or two. But one of the things I'll do is, I'll touch her with the end of the lead. That's correction. Bump. As long as it gets a response, that's correction. Eventually, my correction is this. I can back a dog up by feeling with them and get them to move. I don't have anything to touch them with. But the levels of correction need to be figured out real quickly. Spry, heel. We got a car coming. Move this out of the way. Here's why we love control so much. Ellie, heel. Ellie. Taylor, come here. Come on. Come here. Sit. Taylor, come on. Come on. Oh, it's a rush hour here. There's 2 vehicles on Van Dornick Road at the same time. Something must be happening. Either one's coming our way, though. We're safe. I see there's been several comments being made, so I'll take a look at those in a minute here. But we avoided the big rush. All right, so heel. So I'm gonna leave those 2 there. I'm gonna work Spry a little bit more, because I have noticed too that once I bog down and start talking to you guys, this is the part that, oh, there goes a deer across the road in front of us. Busy street this morning. One of the things that happens is, as soon as I start focusing on the camera and talking about the stuff with the camera, I realize very quickly that my sessions usually erode quickly, because there's distractions. There's distractions of me to you, and I lose it with her. So one of the things that I thought was, prior to going live, she was way more apt to get out, and she just had more life in her feet, and she was moving more. As soon as I get into this, I bog her down. So I don't want to end it with a bog down. I think the last 3 or 4 times I went down, she was back into her habit of, I'll just stay a step or 2 back. I'll stay a step or 2 back. I notice a lot of my dogs stay a step or 2 back, I don't mind it when they get older. I think they pick their times. They get better when there's something going to happen. They sense something's going to happen. They get into a real mellow, laid-back feeling when we're just doing this. I don't want that with her, because this stuff needs to be too much new, and we're gonna continue to move with it. So I want to end it with a little bit more out of her, in a little bit better position, with a little bit more oomph or enthusiasm. Spry, heel. Good. That was a real good turn. I'm going to walk right past the camera. Good. Another good turn. Watch these turns. The last 2 have been good. real fast, and she spins around the corner real quick. Good. That's it. So that's gonna be it. I'm gonna grab this. Another thing that I want to talk about, you're gonna see it. I'm gonna post it on. I think I did something on Instagram with it yesterday. So if you're not following us on Instagram, I recommend it. You get other stuff, you get other content on Instagram that you don't get here with Facebook. It's just a different platform. We use it a little differently. A lot of short, quick stuff on Instagram. And what I did was I showed one of the things that we're doing with her, with Ellie, is if you go back to several Live with Sprys back, I had Ellie a little bit spooky. She got a little spooky when I had stuff going on in my hands, and I saw that as an issue in the future. I don't want to be carrying a gun and have her spooky of me carrying a gun. So when I was carrying this tripod, she got spooky. So I got into the habit of making sure I carried it above her on the left-hand side as we went on heel. So I'm going to bring these guys in. Heel. Ellie, heel. Ellie, come on. Come on. Taylor, come on. Heel. And you can see with her body language, heel. Heel. Come on. Come on. Come on. Good girl. Good. Good girl. Good girl. Sit. 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 Let me spin this around. I did this on Instagram yesterday. Sit. I was sitting at my desk and I had a tape measure. Like a Stanley tape measure, 35 footer, and I can extend it out. So I was probably 6-7 feet out, and I reached out and I was touching Ellie with it. Sit. So she doesn't respond to this one as well as she does the tape measure. So I was petting her with the tape measure. Doing all sorts of stuff. I let the tape measure crack and break, bend over, make a loud noise. Did all sorts of stuff with her. These are all just ways that I'm getting her used to and comfortable with the stuff around her. So I showed that yesterday with the tape measure, and she was real good with it. So she's getting pretty good with it here too. Good. So these are all things that all day long we're doing little lessons. And so they're always learning, we might as well always train. Good. 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 So I gotta get her comfortable. So I had that tape measure and I was swinging it around and I'm bringing it over here and it's moving pretty quick. And a week or two ago, 3 weeks ago, couldn't do this with Ellie. She's way too spooky. Good. Good. And I noticed it when we were doing a live and we were putting the tripod away. Good. So watch that one. That was when we were at a church parking lot, waiting for a basketball practice to get done. Ellie, or Spry, stop it. Good. All right, I'm going to. Can't wait to see the videos at the shop. Megan says we got some good ones, guys. Oh, we got some good ones. I do have. Megan, did I ever share the Google? Did we ever get the Google Drive to you? I don't know how to. I'll have to talk to my wife. But we need to share the link from the first workshop. That's the benefit of going to a workshop, is we film a lot of the stuff for people. We got some really good pictures to share with people. So if I didn't send that yet, I will. I'll put it on my list. My list is really long this week, guys. So if you're waiting to hear back from me on stuff, be patient. I'll get there. You're probably on the list, but the list is 6 pages right now. So digging out from under. Thank goodness we got a holiday weekend coming up. It will allow me to dig out from a lot of work stuff. So I'm going to go through here. Megan says no, so we got that's not on my list. I'll have to add it. Heel. Let me see. I'm just going to scroll through as I walk here. I agree with what you saw. I thought about that on my drive home. I work on that. So Jeff's gonna recognize things from the workshop for the next 6 months, I think. Along with everyone that was there. I want to thank the people that came to the workshop. Boy, that was a good group. Let's see. We had Zeke at my parents, and my dad didn't know we weren't retrieving. He threw a tennis ball and did pretty well for just a few repetitions. We even used the hunt command for one, and he couldn't find it in the grass, which is great. I did a few retrieves with Spry, like I said, and we managed. Robbie Schmidt, good morning, Robbie. How's Ellie doing? Ellie was the unanimous winner of the DogBone Heart Trophy. That girl, 7 years old, I think. Robbie, is that right? Toughed it out. Was a warrior. Worked a great little dog, Daisy. We'll have pictures of that coming. Those we'll post, guys, as we get through them. But man, did they do an awesome job? The Schmidts from Iowa. They fought some sickness. They were troopers. They drove up. We had a good time. Glad they made it. Stacy Wagner, good morning. I've seen some questions, or seen some stuff from Stacy Wagner Hurudka. I don't know how to pronounce the last name, but welcome aboard. I love the involvement. We're getting some new people involved, which is good. Another thing that I've noticed is, I'm going to talk about this because I've got this on my list of things to talk about. I had a great call with Nicole Larson. Here's something I can do on my way back here, guys. Get an extra little session thing in for the girls. Here's our puppy bumper, white one, in the road. Heel. These guys. So Taylor's gonna get to retrieve that one. See how all of a sudden Spry has gotten out a little bit? I don't mind that. Okay with it. Nicole, we had a great conversation yesterday about a lot of stuff. Really wish we'd have been live for it. There's stuff you guys will hear about, because we'll talk about it yet. But her hesitation to go live on it was hesitation, because things came off the tracks again with her and her dog Maverick, and it was a lot rougher for her. And so we talked through it and we worked through it, and I think some of it was dog stuff and some of it was just dealing with the idea of putting it out there for everyone else to see, and the feeling of that. There, I corrected, that was too much. So I think she's good with the idea and realizes now, after having the conversation, that that's the stuff that's most valuable. But anyway, there's changes that need to be made there. It's exactly, I didn't go back myself and look, but I'm going to. I made mention to her that, remember, recall was going so good for her? Heel. If you recall the last call we had with her, recall was not an issue. She was 13 weeks old. She'd let him out. He'd go and he'd come right back in. No issues. Everything's good there. I said, well, enjoy that, because it'll change. It changed. Sit. It changed for her. So she had to start dealing with that and those frustrations. And that wasn't surprising to me. I knew it was coming. I just want to know when I thought it was coming. I want to watch the video again. Not to say I was right, but I think I was. But the reason I was right is because I knew it was happening, because I just had a dog, and so had 7 other people that follow us. About 13, 14 weeks, the dog doesn't want to come back. How do you fix it? Oh, put a shock collar on it. No, that's not how we're going to do it. Check cord. No, we're going to change the situation and set them up for success. Taylor, come here. Taylor. Here comes old Pokey. Come on. Better. So you can see I'm getting some improvement out of her line. Good. No whistle today, so thankfully she didn't hang up. Come on, good girl. that one was probably a little further than I had thought it was. That's okay. She took a nice line to it. Good. Come on, Slowpoke. So she was, our hang up with her in the past was sending her and her popping. I overhandled her. Made mistakes, so I fixed them, or I'm fixing them. Good. And then once I get her lining real well, and she starts to struggle with something else, then I'm going to work on that. And then, good. Then when she struggles on something else, I'm going to work on that. And when she struggles with something else, I'm going to work on that. So, bump her out. I'll let Ellie get one. Heel. Lots of memory work. Those at the workshop understand why now. Nick Ackerman, how are you doing, Nick? I don't think you're on right now, but I bet you'll watch these. So hello, man. Nick was a warrior as well. Had a great little draught tar with him. He challenged me in a lot of ways, in good ways, and so I appreciate that. But one of the things I hope he takes away from this, and he emailed me about it, is less marks, more memories. You can throw marks, just pick them up yourself. But less marks, more memories. And so his dog is going to start taking better lines. He sent me a message on it. Nick, I have an answer for you on it. It's on my list. See, it's weird how I think of these strange things on these walks. All these things on the list. But I know how to, I think I have a way to try to fix that issue you have. He's got a dog that's not as interested in the retrieve and kind